not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And what I realized with the club is what makes them so mad is when you don't want to be a part of the club. That pisses them off. What club am I talking about? I'm talking about the club of gatekeepers that we all got to deal with. Some of you may not have realized that I'm not part of the club. And what I realized...
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I'm going to come back on and do the podcast over media lies. Let's talk about how the media deceives people, both on a national level and on a local level. Why is the media so important to have control of, and what impact does it have? Again, I'm coming back on because the video didn't play, the audio, and I didn't realize it. So, sorry about that. Well, we do it again. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. That's what happens when you do it live. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I wanted to talk about the media and how the media lies and how it creates narratives and the impacts that it has. We've recently, many of us, probably most Americans by now, have come to realize that the media tells lies. After the pandemic, we saw that the media was saying something on TV, yet we were seeing something different. And over the course of the 2 years that was the pandemic, we saw nothing in terms of health, although they were saying people were dying. And there were many other things, right? And we come to realize that the media lies. And many people nowadays don't trust the media, whether CNN or Fox. It doesn't matter. They both, to me, lie. And they're both set up to fool either side, depending who you are. If you're a Republican, you're going to get fooled by Fox. If you're a Democrat, you're going to get fooled by CNN. That's what they are there for, to deceive and create propaganda. So I want to show some videos. And again, they didn't play earlier, the audio anyway, but they're very important. And it's important that people know, especially because there's so much going on right now. There's a lot going on with the war in Ukraine, and I want to show a video clip here that makes you wonder what's really happening in the Ukraine. Is what they're telling us really true, or is it just a bunch of lies to get the American people to support the war or military activity or the sending of billions of dollars to the Ukraine, taxpayer money, when we need so much here in the United States and there's so much going on, right? So they create propaganda using the news, the media, and they like to pull on people's heartstrings. They show, children, families. They seem to be running away from explosions and war and the sound of gunfire, and people support. And you see people putting up the Ukraine flag. And I'm not, targeting the Ukraine specifically, but that's what's going on now. And so you see many people, when you drive around Yonkers, you'll see the flags hanging out of their homes, right? And it's the same with the transgender movement, right? We got the transgender flags now. They created a whole campaign on the media, or in the media, I should say. And now it's created a division. You got parents and the school boards fighting school boards because of transgender education that they want to force down, the throats of our children in schools, when they should be teaching them how to survive as an adult in this world, right? And so they create these narratives, right? And they have all these different events, and they get people to become used to it. And so it's important to understand that the media serves a purpose and is not really to inform the people. And so one thing that the pandemic has done is that it has made us realize, right, as people, that the media lies, but also a lot of people have decided to start their own podcasts like myself, or, vlogs or news sites, social media pages where they report the news so they can report what's actually happening, right? And so I encourage everyone to do their own research and not to just take what you hear on the media, the corporate media at face value. Do your own research. It's important. I want to show this clip here. It talks about psychological warfare, right? Psychological warfare, psyops, as they're saying right now, we're in the 5th generation of warfare. I guess there's different generation, and I guess it makes sense if you go back to Gen 1, right? Like your iPhone, it's very basic. Gen 1, there was no gunpowder, so they fought with swords, right? And now we're at Gen 5, where psychological warfare is all cyber attacks, online attacks, right? It's also propaganda, social media, censorship, that kind of stuff. That's the new warfare. So, many people may not realize it, but we are already in World War III. And we have been, it's a technological war. So psychological warfare is, it's a tactic that's used to deceive the people. But what's scary is that nowadays it's being used to deceive, the people of this country by our own government, right? And Edward Snowden, he let the cat out the bag when he talked about the surveillance program that the United States government was implementing, right? The NSA, and how we were being watched. Every phone call was being recorded. So this is very real if you do your research, and they don't want you to know this, right? Whether it's national news and accredited news outlets, or it's a guy like Brian Harrod who sits home all day. He calls people conspiracy theorists, but the surveillance of American citizens is very real.
Psychological warfare is the most powerful type of warfare that can be implemented in a battle.
Basically, a psychological operation is an operation intended to influence a target audience. In the past, during other generations of war, we're in the 5th generation of war now, but in other generations of war, PSYOP has always existed. The difference is, in today's world, it's no longer an ancillary supporting task or part of an operation. It's not ancillary. It's not supporting anymore. Now, in the 5th generation of warfare, the PSYOP is the primary objective. When we talk about generations of war, it's no different than talking about
So now he's saying that PSYOPs, right, and propaganda is the number one form of generation. It is the primary strategy of war. And so it's people don't realize, but we are at war, even us American citizens, and they're using these psychological operations on the people. How do you think they got so many people to voluntarily inject themselves with a liquid that was experimental, that had not been proven to be effective, that had not gone through the proper clinical trials, or had not taken the 7+ years that the safe ones, or the ones that we've come to know, have gone through? How did they convince so many people to do that, and so many people to allow themselves to get their children, get vaccinated? It's propaganda, right? The constant bombardment of, television ads and social media ads, and, encouraging people. Then you see celebrities and you see elected officials, and they encourage people. That's psychological warfare, right? So that happens on a national level, and it also happens on a local level. And so that's important for elected officials to control the media, which is why we here in Yonkers see our media controlled, right? News 12, are they doing any investigative journalism? Recently, we've seen David Wilson McKay from the LOHUD, excuse me. He released some investigative articles, but it's nothing that we haven't heard before. And how far deep did he really go, right? But much of the political stuff is not covered here in Yonkers because the news stays away. We have the Yonkers Voice and the Yonkers Newswire, I guess, the Yonkers Tribune, the Yonkers Times. But these news outlets, quote unquote, independent news outlets, are all controlled because it's important to control the media, right? They paint the narrative and they paint an image for people, and people believe this. People will go online and they'll see what the Yonkers Voice has posted, and they'll believe it to be real. And so that's why they utilize these news outlets. That's why they pay these guys to attack, right? And so, again, I want to show another clip here. This is a military communications officer talking about how the media blatantly lied to the people, the American people, about the war in Yugoslavia, right? Blatantly lied. And Hillary Clinton blatantly lying to the American people.
And I was deployed to the war in the former Yugoslavia. One of my jobs was to pull message traffic. Really, it was me tuning my mind, because a lot of that information coming in wasn't true. And you don't want to make the wrong call, because an operation could be spun from the wrong information and people could get hurt. So I really had to refine my ability to think critically. What is the most truth out of all of this information? And only pass off the good information. And that's what I got really good at. You have people all over the country, people out at sea, right? People on ships, people in the intelligence agencies. I was also in a place where I could watch the media report on the war. So I would take my breaks and I'd sit there and watch Sky News, BBC, CNN, you name it. And they're there talking about the war. And it didn't line up with what I was experiencing, both visually and both through all the information coming in from around the war. And I said, well, why would they be saying that? That's not true. And I would see this go on a lot. And then it just dawned on me that they're just telling them what the military want them to hear. Then I started picking up their narratives. They were trying to glorify the reason we were
saying that as he was in war, he was actually there. He was live on the battleground, right? He's seeing what's happening. He's actually a communications officer, so he's getting information. And yet when he's watching CNN and he's watching all these other news outlets and organizations, they're saying something completely different than the truth. And that's when he realized that the media lies. The media lies. Oh, my God. Could you believe it? And even here in Yonkers, the media lies because elected officials control the media. There's an active effort to control all media, anyone who speaks out. And either you get along with it, right? You can become very successful. You can make a lot of money, or you can speak the truth and they will come and attack you and they will create lies just like they do here, right? So we have to be careful what you guys see and hear on the media, and do your own research. I encourage you guys to do your own research, right? They understand this. This is why they've been attacking me. This is why they've been posting things about me, my wife, and other people. They want people to believe lies. That's what they do. That's what they're paid to do. And I wanted to go over some of the things that they have been posting. Because, you know, I don't know. I get the sense that people think that they're the victims, like as if Freddie Vasquez just has this podcast to attack people. I would like to talk about propaganda in the media, and I don't get as many views as I do as that. If I talk about the economy, right, what's going to be happening with digital currency, the fact that the U.S. dollar is not going to be the reserve currency, you don't get much views. But if I talk about the drama, then you get a lot of views. Right? That's what people like to see. I'm not sure why. But I want to show you just exactly what they're doing to me in the media. By the way, there goes Anthony Moranti, James Nolan, the mayor, and that's Tasha Diaz. I almost said, look at Tasha Diaz here. I have to take a pause for the call. Look at Tasha Diaz. What's going on there? Tasha doesn't look too good there. Anthony Moranti, the Republican mayoral candidate. There goes Mayor Mike Spano, the Democrat incumbent. Those two are going to be facing off this November. Who will you be voting for? Will it be the incumbent Mike Spano, or will it be Anthony Moranti, the Republican councilman from District 6? Who are you going to vote for this November? And so the media, right? Which media is supporting Moranti? Because none of the media outlets out here say anything positive about Anthony Moranti. They don't showcase anything about Anthony Moranti, right? They leave him out to dry. I mean, he does do some ads with the Yonkers Voice, I believe. But why? Why? He's working against you, Moranti. Why do you pay that guy? He's making people believe that very few people wanted or opposed the term extension, and most people wanted it, Moranti, and you're the restored term limits guy. This is what I don't understand about people. I'm just a loyal guy. Like, I can't work with, and I can't deal with and engage with people who, that just couldn't be me. That's maybe why I don't do too well in politics, right? But the guy is anti restore term limits, Moranti. Yonkers Voice. He doesn't give you much respect. He doesn't give you much attention. He doesn't give you much promotion, except for what you pay for. Not like he does Tasha Diaz. Look at Tasha Diaz. What is going on with Tasha Diaz here? She looks a hot mess, right? Anyway, that's James Nolan right there. I thought I'd show you that. But this is really quick before I get off. This is why it's important, for them to control the media. They want to create a narrative, whatever that narrative may be. If it's about the term limit extension, right? If it's about creating the false lie that a lot of people supported it or whatever through Ruros or Yonkers Times, Yonkers Tribune, or if it's, making people look bad, people who speak the truth, right? They will use the media. Some of our elected officials and some political operatives will utilize the media. And I want to show you the things that I've had to deal with and my wife have had to deal with for the past, I don't know how many months. This is Brian Harrod. This is the internet terrorist. This guy right here. This is a welfare fraudster. Somehow he managed to get 2 apartments at the new Mulford. This is Prince. Hey, Prince, whatever happened to you? Did you actually run for mayor? Or did you spend most of the time tailing Ruros? Everywhere I would see Ruros, I'd see Prince Robinson tailing him. So these are the internet bullies, the internet terrorists that harass women. Have no problem disrespecting a man's family, yet cry victim when that man responds. And in any other city in America, the police would have intervened. But because they are protected by the police, that is why they feel comfortable. And I don't want to say the police actively protect them. What I want to say is that there are individuals who control the police that protect them. So the police won't get involved because they feel comfortable talking about people the way they do because they know that they're protected and they'll call the cops. So they will attack, harass, abuse women online. And I know it was Prince because he texts just like he talks. He says sir a lot. So he was one of the mysterious text texters that I was, getting text from, I'm sure. And this is what they do. This family had their son missing, but they don't care. They'll throw them into their nonsense, disrespecting this family. Who cares, right? They're Hispanic people that live on the South Side. And why did they throw them in? Because the family was upset with the way the police handled the missing person initially. And they were also attacked via the Yonkers Voice. He allowed people to attack this family who were truly scared because I saw it in their face. All because they were upset in the beginning with the way they felt police were handling it. And not saying that police did anything wrong. They deal with these type of situations all the time. But every parent, it's their first time, and it's a huge deal. But they will disrespect these people, and they don't care. This is on a website that they are paying for. Frankie Jarris, son of Zahi Jarris. Why do I speak of Zahi Jarris? Because he speaks of me. The man went after my family after I spoke about his political conviction and his involvement with the takedown of my cater. That had nothing to do with his family. That had nothing to do with his personal life. But he didn't appreciate it. And maybe because they thought I was the cater puppet and that I would be a weapon for the caters, they wanted to attack me to put the weapon out, destroy the weapon. So constant barragement of posts from these guys, commenting, already knowing where my wife is going to work. Frankie Jarris, how does he know where she's going to work? I feel bad for the children and Yonkers Public School staffers at the school she's going to be working at. I guess luckily for them, the school will be closing. This is what they write. Where do you think they get this information from? Obviously, inside sources. And so before they play victim, before the Yonkers Voice says they're the victim, or that, John Cater goes on there and says, and say Freddie's a liar. This is their little game. This is their little game. Made pass at student. Former owner of a Yonkers karate school pleaded guilty yesterday to touching and kissing one of his young students. A female student wept in Supreme Court in White Plains as Rui Ben Rose, a.k.a. Rue Rose, 35, the owner of the Shukukai Karate School in Yonkers, pled guilty to endangering the welfare of a minor. He pled down. He had been initially charged with sexually abusing the girl. He had been initially charged with sexually abusing the girl. But he pled down because he had individuals on his side that were connected. And it's nothing new, Yonkers. And so I've spoke about this, and they attack my wife who said nothing to no one. And they do it through the media because they want people to believe their lies. That man was charged with sexually abusing a girl, underage, at his karate school here in Yonkers, the Yonkers Voice. There he goes. Sensei pedophile. And yet he attacks me, yet elected officials conduct business with him, sitting next to him, while that victim that's spoken about in that article still lives here in Yonkers and has to see him with our elected officials, the people elected to represent and protect the people. So they're saying that pedophilia is okay every time they sit next to this man. There he goes. Karate Roo. And I didn't make this picture. I did not, but I'll gladly share it. And fake pages constantly attacking me, my wife. Here's a fake page talking about my birth. And I mentioned this already. But so what? The fact that I've never been arrested, unlike many of these individuals that are angry with me, who are felons. Look at Rue. He was charged with sexually abusing a girl. Zahi Jarris is a 2-time felon. Are they stupid? More attacks from an Xavier Thompson. Yo, tell MK and JK their nephew needs, and look, they're attacking the Caters. Too many conspiracy theories going on up here. This Xavier Thompson page was on a rampage, on a manic posting, and they called me crazy and mentally unstable. Manically posting. Little Pussycat Fred. This sounds like Tony Margie, actually. Another one of the villains, Joseph Sage. A guy who's smart. I think he thinks he's smarter than he is. But he's also had everything easy and handed to him. And I'm sure I'll get a lot of attacks. Watch, it's like clockwork after this podcast. There he goes. The nephew of Nader Sage, an assemblyman, involved in attacking me. They all knew that we were attacked here. It's in the police report. I didn't go to jail, right? Just like someone said who had common sense to ask a simple question. If he did all that and is all this crazy, why is he walking free? Why has he never been arrested? Unlike Rue Rose, charged with sexually abusing a girl, charged with selling cocaine to undercover police officers, found with child pornography in his phone. Zahi Jarris, 2-time felon, political corruption, tax evasion, marijuana distribution, election fraud. And they got the video from this guy, Cousin Irwin. And this is my I Forgive You podcast, and I'm moving the fuck on. But before I do, I want to make sure that the people are very clear why Freddy Vasquez does what he does. Because it takes a whole army of them to come and attack me. But I'm with it. But they don't attack me. That's the sad part. No, they attack my wife. They call CPS on me. This lovely lady right here who created a fake page until I busted her, encouraging people to call CPS again after they had done so twice to my business. Yet they are the victims. The ones that get your tax dollars, who become rich off your tax dollars, don't have to be qualified for the positions they have, nor take tests when tests are required. Ain't that right, Sonny? Again, this is my I'm moving on. I forgive you podcast. This man here passed away. I don't know who he is, but I wanted to show you that his picture was being used on one of the fake pages. This man here being disrespected after he's passed away. They use his photo to attack me and my family using a fake page. They have no boundaries. They have no respect. They know no limits. Because they are criminals. They are thugs themselves. That is all they know. Yonkers politicians convicted of corruption. This is the guy that leads the pack. The cousin of Tony Margie. He leads the pack. And they want to be like him. They look up to him. Both of them were convicted of 2 conspiracy charges, 1 corruption charge, and an extortion charge. In addition, Anabi was convicted of 1 additional corruption charge, 3 counts of making a false statement to a bank, and 2 counts of filing false tax returns. Jarris was charged with 1 additional charge of making corrupt payments. So if he did it once before, you don't think he'll do it again? Honestly, tell me, Freddie, you're wrong. He will never do it again. And here I am, speaking with Joseph Sage after receiving information that he had an illegitimate child in Venezuela. I tried to get verification from him. So to those who say I don't do my due diligence, I do. I reached out to him first But he played some game with me, talking about stocks. It was very strange. Here, Matina Biopharma, Matina, so whatever. This is he's sending me this website. I don't get it. Look at comment after comment of attacks. These are all attacks. 51 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. This simultaneously, he's commenting here. He doesn't even allow a minute to pass. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Constant barragement of attacks from fake pages. So I want you again to understand why I have said on Basement Politics. No, I am not a victim, but my wife sure is. And they don't care. They'll target her. More attacks, more comments. This was going on for the longest time. They do it through fake accounts, so you won't know that they're connected to so-and-so or related to so-and-so or being paid by so-and-so. Unbelievable. Tony Margie, one of the guys I'm sure behind these fake pages, I believe might be that Xavier Thompson. See, Tony, what I do is report the truth for the people. It's not personal, but you took it personal and you guys take it personal. So you go personal and you talk about my wife and you go after her. That's a woman, you know? That's a woman. Thought they might have taught you better. But don't be mad and go after my wife because you are at your business while you're supposed to be on the clock in your city vehicle. Maybe you don't understand. It's a taxpayer thing. It's a wasteful spending thing. It's a thing about people unemployed who would actually work, who don't have businesses and get a hookup for a city job. So it must be talked about. But it wasn't personal, but you made it personal. You got 4 sources of income. Why do you care what I say? According to Brian and you guys, I'm a mental case, right? So why attack my wife? You're a man, right? And that's why he's upset, and that's why they attack my family. It's not because I'm speaking about their personal business out of the blue and all of a sudden I'm bothering them. No. The city doesn't have money for cheerleading mats. The city doesn't have money to fix this, to fix that, to fund this, to fund that. So we need to cut wasteful spending. And if people are reporting, because this was told to me, by the way, Tony, I didn't know you were there until someone called me. And it was not a city employee. I'll tell you that much, because I think you thought it was. Somebody actually reached out to me on more than one occasion, but I only went once, Tony. So again, you think people aren't watching? People are watching. It's not me. They're watching, and they have a voice, a real Yonkers voice in Freddie Vasquez. And so they reach out to me. So when you attack me, you are attacking the people. Because I stand for the people and I speak on behalf of the people because that's where I get my information from. I don't know how to get in there. This guy hates me. He hates me. He has told people that if I was on fire, he would not urinate on me to save my life. That's what he has actually told people. Why does he hate me? Because I have informed the city of Yonkers that this man is a danger to children. Am I a bad guy for doing that? Don't you want to know? Isn't that why they have a sex registry, a sex offender registry? Just because you got lucky and pled down doesn't mean that you didn't do the crime. You still violated a little girl. and you are a danger. And so, moving forward this school year, I will be at every school board meeting asking them to please make sure that you are not near our school children. I'm now going to do things the legitimate way, in the mature way, the legal way, and I'm going to go about my business. And you can continue to attack me online, because this is my I'm moving on, I forgive you for now podcast. There he goes, talking to the woman who screamed on a food cart vendor on South Broadway, who blamed the cracks in the streets that were there for 20 years on the fact that we did not elect officials who would get it done. She said that. She was very recently seen yelling at a woman, an elderly woman who was sitting down at Lincoln Park over there on South Broadway, upsetting even Lorraine Lopez. I hear. People called for her resignation. They didn't get it. She is part of the South Broadway bid. She's the executive director of an extortion group that extorts the businesses. Why do they have to pay to get the area cleaned up when there's city services that do that? Why do they have to pay to get the sidewalk fixed if it's cracked for 20 years? I mean, they were fixing it in front of several elected officials' houses. I know, I took pictures of it. Very recently, even. So think about it. Right? But luckily for the sidewalk that needed to be fixed, I pointed out the fact that she said that the reason why it was still in that shape, which it had been there for, she said, I think 17 years, 20 years, was because we didn't elect elected officials that would get it done. That's what she said. So she was implying that the elected officials currently elected in office, one of them being the mayor, Mike Spano, who she owes a lot to. I mean, he's the mayor. You were doing the Hispano for Spanos event. How dare you? That's not the mayor's fault. That's Tasha Diaz, I believe, or is it Corazon Pineda? Which one of them represent that district? That's whose fault it is. There goes Frank Jarris, the son of Zahi Jarris, one of the internet terrorists and trolls and part of the group of individuals that have been attacking my wife. You see him there saying where she's going. Why is he, why does he know where she's going? That's not public information. How does he know? How does he know? On his way to work at the Human Rights Commission as the secretary, more taxpayer money going to the rich. That's his dad. He learned from the best. Will he one day have a similar picture? Zahi Jarris, former business partner, misses $78,000 tax fraud. Former New York State Senator pleads guilty as tax fraud. Zahi Jarris, powerless karate coach, is charged with abuse. New York Times. Yonkers Newswire, Peter on patrol. There was a time when that guy, Brian Harris, who now attacks my wife 24/7, was attacking Ruros in similar fashion 24/7. And the reason he was attacking Ruros at the time was because Ruros, I should say, was actually making some good points. And he was sent to attack him. And eventually Ruros, whatever, joined because he couldn't beat him. He joined him. And now he does exactly the same. But I'm sure it didn't take much convincing. So there you have it. Yonkers Newswire, Peter on patrol, Yonkers child molester, Rui Ben Rose. So Yonkers Newswire has been saying it for a long time, but now no more. Now it's attack Freddie Vasquez's wife. Fundraiser for Ruros. He needs a fun GoFundMe, but he's constantly going on vacation. And that is the horrible creature known as Brian Harris. And these are just a fraction, again, of the posts that they have been putting up. Men, if you're listening and you're married, if a man like this horrible creature right here posted a picture of your wife with a dildo in her mouth next to her school, what would you do? What would you do, man? So you have to understand where my anger and frustration. But again, this is my I forgive you for now. I'm moving on podcast. But I want you to know who are the sick individuals that are involved in attacking not just my wife, but a lot of members of the community. Anyone who speaks out, anyone who goes against the script, who goes against the grain, who questions things, they will go after you with some kind of nonsense, some kind of lie. Now they're finding a friend in John Cater because of what I said, right? And I'm not trying to have an issue with John Cater. That wasn't the goal. I wasn't trying to throw him under the bus. That's not the goal. I really, it's just, listen, I'm tired of being or having my wife attacked. I didn't like that they already knew where she was going. That's inside information that's being leaked. She's not safe. These people are making it unsafe. Frankie Jarris is part of them. He says it right there. And they're solely focused on me. And she had an issue before she left where she was at. And I believe that John Cater's wife knew this was going on. And so I asked him about it. He said he doesn't get into the school business, right? So I said, okay, no problem. I didn't push it from there because at the end of the day, that said everything. So I said, all right, cool, right? Because if it was me, my wife probably would have said, hey, Freddie, this is what I heard about John's wife, man. Word, yo, John, check this out. Just give you a heads up. I don't know. I'm just giving a heads up. But it almost seemed like maybe she was a part of it. And here I am, defending her husband. Her husband is putting a battery in my back, adding fuel to the fire, right? So, that's why I said that. That's why I'm, because it's going to come out. I'm being sued. It's not John being sued. It's not anyone else being sued. I'm being sued. I'm still dealing with these individuals. They didn't attack John or crazy. They didn't attack his wife. Right? I'm out here left to have to deal with this, and these people still are going on. And people, are meeting in the background, piecing things up. Oh, and Freddie still got to deal with a lawsuit? Right? I still got to, and look, I don't even mind the lawsuit, but you still got to go and attack my wife and put all those stupid posts, right? Right? None of you be like, you know what? Enough. So I got to look out for myself because at the end of the day, it's me and my wife that's out here fighting this. It's our business that's being attacked. No one else's business, right? Some people you're worried about permits and stuff like that, but they weren't worried about Freddie's business, right? And they can say, well, I tell you not to say this or that. At the end of the day, no matter what, when I mentioned Zahi and what he was doing and the corruption and stuff, that's when they came for my family. Okay? It didn't matter whoever else I mentioned. That's what they do. They did it to Mike Cater. They did it to your brother. Right? They attacked his family. His wife got disgusting text messages. So instead of saying, yo, you know what? That's not right. Damn, they try to get his wife fired. Yo, my wife knew about it. Didn't say nothing. This is what they do. So why don't we speak out about it? Because if not, then we're not going to ever have any change. And if there's only one person speaking out, even though other people are having that same experience, then that one person is going to be the sole target. They're going to use the media like these guys to try and discredit him and attack his wife and make people think all kinds of things about her and him and possibly his business. No one stepped up, right? No one that was involved, because you may not be pulling the trigger, but you're holding the bullets like this, right? And so that's all I'm saying. And now, you know, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Y'all the relatives, y'all deal with that shit, you know what I'm saying? They put it out there, you still mad, then how long you want to go with it? How long you want to use these guys to go with it, you know what I'm saying? So maybe you'll have to have a sit down, you know, because I don't know. I don't see how this is going. This is the Jordanians. This is the small group of individuals within the Jordanian community. It's not the Spanos. It's not the Spanos. Right? It's not the Spanos. It's because I maybe made the Stage Crime Family podcast. Oh, they don't like that. Not forever. They're going to keep going. But it's all there anyway. It's all there anyway. And you guys aren't the nicest people. So move on. You know, again, they did it to Mike Cater. They did it to his wife. They sent disgusting text messages. They were making all kinds of accusations. The same with me. They were accusing me of having an affair. They were accusing Mike Cater of having an affair. It's the same shit. And who is it? Say Jerris. Did it to his own cousin. Took him out. That's what they do. So that's why I'm done. I'm done with the nonsense. It's going to come out anyway because, listen, I got the lawsuit. I got to put the information. By the way, the only people that were named in that, in terms of my response, was Zahi Jarrett. That's it. And Google, the FBI. Because that's where I got most of my information from, Zahi and your family. And you. And yourself, Mr. Big Shot. I'm going to call Sam right now. How many people can just call Sam Borelli, the building department commissioner? Just like that and find out about anything? How many people? Hello, Sam, you there? It's me, Zahi. Listen, my guys over at Mark Realty need to hook up again. Who told me about Mark Realty? Zahi, think about it. Think about it, Z-Man. I mean, when do you want to stop? You don't have to be my friend. But we can have a truce. And you can leave my wife alone. Let her be the damn best administrator that they got. She does a damn good job, and I'm sorry if some of you just don't perform well. And I'm sorry, Brian, that you have not amounted to much more than a human pile of shit. Partnered up with a child molester creep. And our elected officials will gladly sit next to that pedophile who was charged with sexually abusing a girl. I read it. To you guys. Do you not care, Shanae Williams? Do you not care, Lakeisha, Tasha? Do you guys not care that you sit next to a man charged with sexually abusing a girl? How do you rationalize it in your mind when you sit there with him? Knowing that he's done it to actually multiple victims, that's just the one time he got caught. Just looking at him disgusts me. How do you sit there next to him and do a whole damn interview? A man that attacks a woman. Hey, black women, he's attacking a black woman, but you don't care because color means nothing, right? Just for elections. And so when is enough is enough? What did I do so bad? How did I hurt you so bad that you can't just let it go? And you continue to attack my wife. A woman, men. A woman. Attack me. You talk more about her than me. She's not the one on the podcast. It's me. What do you think? That's my Achilles heel? She actually said, Freddie, who cares? Don't respond to them no more, because I think what they're really trying to do is just get you upset. And I know, because you're my queen and I love you. And lucky. You guys are really lucky, yo. I just want you to understand how blessed you guys are to be protected by your elected official friends. And I really, truly mean that. And the day that you are not, I promise you, I would love to come and see you. I just love my wife. I don't believe any man's wife should be disrespected like that. But when you disrespect my wife, you're going to get it back. And I still haven't I've never even disrespected Zahi's wife like that. What I said, you got a job that you didn't earn. You failed the test twice and you skipped the line. When you got there, it was number 99 on the ticket. You had 99. They were calling 2 and you went next. Then you failed the test. I think you passed it now from what I hear, but still, that's not fair. There are people that have been there that would love to advance as supervisor. That's not disrespectful, is it? Is that the same as putting a dildo in your mouth? You know who's disrespected you more than me, Seda? Your own husband. Your own husband. But you don't attack him online. You don't got the minions attacking him. He's disrespected you more than anybody. Many times, publicly. And I think that's why he's so upset, because he knows that that's true. And now I'm using it against him. Well, leave my wife alone. It's that simple. I don't know what else to say. So this is I'm trying to move on, folks, and I'm saying it here. They just put another post today about my wife. I didn't even share that one. It's an everyday thing. It's an everyday thing. Attacking her credibility, her experience, her background. I mean, and that's coming from these individuals through a man that has not amounted to anything more than a human pile of shit. But it's my wife and she's my queen. And I take that very disrespectful after a while. Because again, no man's wife should be talked that way. Talked about that way. No man. But they're protected by the police. But the day they don't protect you, and I hear you drive around looking scared, how fast can your wife drive, Brian? How fast does that blue boat of yours go? Pedomobile. And they utilize this sausage head over here because he don't know no better. Got the higher intellectual capacity of a third grader. Anyway, folks, I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Can we move on? I would love to just talk about politics and not have to deal with these morons and complete disgusting waste of human space. They dirty politics. They make Yonkers looks bad. But yet they do remind us of exactly why it is time we vote individuals out like Tasha Diaz, because when we vote Tasha out, that's one of Zahi's candidate. When we vote Lakeisha out, that's one of Zahi's candidate. Shanae, He's going to county. Let them deal with it. That's one of Zahi's candidate. It's time for change, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. I ain't going nowhere. Listen, man. I ain't going anywhere, Tony T. And by the way, Tony Margie, how the sandwich doing? You doing better than my daycare? How the numbers looking? About to say hello? How many sandwiches are you selling? Are you getting enough city employees to go there? I mean, how many guys is there like a list? You have to go to these businesses. Now they got the Toasty place. Then they got your place. They got other delis, I'm sure, that they have to go to. I mean, poor city employees, man. They make you guys go through the ringer for that job, don't they? Maybe you deserve all that extra pay, even if you didn't work it, actually. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, the things you actually have to do, I mean, it ain't worth it. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basic Politics Unfiltered. Email me at politicswithfred@gmail.com. Would you like to see Anthony Moranti on my show? What about the mayor? What if Mike Spano came on Basement Politics? Or is City Hall going to now receive a bunch of calls from all the gatekeepers saying, no, the mayor better not go on Basement Politics. Don't you dare give him a voice. Don't you dare give him any credibility. Stop it, yo. Stop being some haters, man. Y'all some haters. Y'all don't like me doing y'all some haters. Let me eat too. I can't eat. I can't eat. At least I actually do something. Maybe. Let's see if I can get Mike Fan. I'm going to push for it. Also, I'm going to get Anthony Moranti on the show. And, you know, see what happens. I would love to speak with both of them. And hopefully, folks, these guys will leave me alone. But I promise you, I'm sure tomorrow they're going to post again. Watch. And I'm going to share it. Say, see, I told you. It's like clockwork. Like clockwork. I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basic Politics Unfiltered. Watch out for the UFOs. That's right, folks. If you're interested in UFOs, did you know that Congress is currently having hearings on UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena? There is military and intelligence agents or former agents who are saying they are very real. I'm not crazy like Brian said. And surveillance is a very real thing. Look up Edward Snowden. Why they're putting facial recognition software. And I guarantee you they have the plate readers all over these cameras now. They can track anybody anywhere. So no longer should we not have video footage of incidents that happen in the city of Yonkers. That should not be a problem anymore. What would you like to hear? What would you like me to speak about? Email me at politicswithfred@gmail.com. Politicswithfred@gmail.com. This is Basic Politics. I am Freddie Vasquez. Have a beautiful night. No!